Because most people, even doctors, get the story wrong. See, your leg muscles aren't just shrinking from age. That's the lazy explanation. What's really happening is something called mitochondrial burnout. Think of each muscle cell as having tiny furnaces inside it. Those are your mitochondria. They take the food you eat and turn it into the energy your legs need to stand, to climb stairs, to get out of a low chair. Around age 60, those furnaces start dying off. Not because of time, but because they're not getting the right fuel. And here's the analogy I give my patients. Imagine trying to heat your house with wet firewood. You'll get some warmth, sure, but mostly smoke and frustration. That's what processed foods, even so-called healthy grains, do to your leg muscles. You feel tired, heavy, slow, and you think it's just aging. It's not. It's fuel failure. I had a patient named Walter, 83 years old, former high school basketball coach. Couldn't get off the toilet without using his arms to push up. His daughter was ready to put him in assisted living. Walter said to me, "Doc, I've accepted it. I'm old." And I said, "Walter, you're not old. Your mitochondria are starving." We changed one thing, one food, every single day. 16 weeks later, Walter walked into my office without his cane. His daughter was crying. He said, "I carried my own grocery bags yesterday. First time in 4 years." What did Walter add? Red meat. But not just any red meat. And I need to be very specific here because this matters. Lean beef, 85/15 ground beef, or a small 4-ounce steak. And here's the research that made me change my own practice. A 2021 study from the Karolinska Institute in Sweden followed 300 seniors over 70. The group that ate animal protein, specifically the complete amino acid profile found in beef, 3 to 4 times per week had a 34% lower rate of sarcopenia. That's the medical term for age-related muscle loss. But here's the part nobody tells you. Now I need to stop here for a moment because this is serious. If you have kidney disease, stage 3 or higher, or if you're on blood thinners like warfarin or have gout that flares up easily, do not change your diet without talking to your own doctor first. I'm giving you the science, but your body is unique and your doctor knows your numbers. The second food you need every day is eggs. Whole eggs. And yes, the yolk. That's where the leucine lives, the single most powerful amino acid for triggering muscle protein synthesis in seniors. A 2023 study from Penn State showed that seniors who ate 2 whole eggs per day, in addition to their regular diet, gained measurable leg strength in just 8 weeks. Not just maintained, gained. And that brings me to Evelyn, the patient I mentioned earlier. She started eating 1 small beef patty at lunch and 2 scrambled eggs every morning. No other changes. At her 10-week follow-up, she walked into my exam room without holding her husband's arm. She said, "Dr. Collins, I stood up from the sofa without making that old lady noise." That's real. That's what we're after. The third piece is timing. Eat that protein within 30 minutes of waking up. Your muscles have been fasting all night and they're starving. Give them the fuel immediately. One common mistake? Plant proteins only. Beans and nuts are wonderful, but they lack enough leucine to rebuild aging leg muscles. You need the animal source. Here's what a real day looks like. Wake up, within 30 minutes scramble 2 eggs. For lunch, a small 4-ounce grass-fed beef patty or leftover steak. Dinner, anything you want, just make sure you're getting vegetables and staying hydrated. That's it. You don't need supplements. You don't need expensive powders. Here's what most people don't realize about leg strength. They think it's just about walking more. Or maybe doing those little ankle weights while watching the evening news. And sure, those things help a little. But here's what I see in my office every single week. A patient, let's call her Evelyn, 78 years old, comes in holding her husband's arm. She's unsteady. She tells me, "Doctor, I just don't trust my legs anymore." And my heart breaks a little every time I hear that. Because Evelyn has been trying. She walks the male route every morning. She does her stretches. But she's still losing ground. And that's the part nobody tells you. The conventional advice? It's failing our seniors. A 2022 study from the University of Oslo followed 1,400 adults over 65 for 12 years. And here's the number that stopped me cold: a 28% faster rate of leg muscle decline in people who followed only standard walk more advice without addressing something else. Something most doctors completely miss. But what if I told you that even at 90 years old, even if you've already lost some muscle, even if your knees ache or your hip bothers you, you can rebuild strength in a way that surprises even me? Before I show you how, if you're finding this helpful, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I'm Dr. James Collins. I've spent 26 years in internal medicine and geriatrics. And what I'm about to share changed how I treat every single patient over 60 who walks through my door. Today, I'm going to tell you 3 specific things. First, the one food you should eat every single day that acts like a natural leg building medicine. Second, the hidden reason your legs are getting weaker even though you're still active. And third, a simple morning habit that takes 90 seconds and works with that food to rebuild what you've lost. Let me start with what's actually happening inside your legs. And I need to stop here for a moment because this matters. Your legs want to be strong. They're waiting for permission. Give them the fuel they're asking for. Hit subscribe if this helped, share this with someone who's struggling to stand up from a chair. And tell me in the comments which tip surprised you more, the red meat or the eggs. I'll see you in the next one. This is Dr. Collins, reminding you that aging is not a verdict. It's just a chapter. And you get to write the next page.